Aria Ingram's Diaries. Prologue. Long ago, in another dimension, in a different universe, the legend of the Founders was born. They came from the Son of Suns to give rise to life on Earth. To protect their creation, the Founders bestowed upon the tiny blue planet a force endowed with truth. It came to be called the Moonstone, and for millennia, Earth, and the dominant species, mankind, had been protected by it. As mankind developed, they learned, unlocked and harnessed many mysteries of the universe. Sadly, what mankind did not learn is that truth is fragile. In the age of cosmic expansion, the Founders splintered. Some, corrupted by power and in alliance with deviant factions of mankind, turned against their own. The righteous sought refuge in the Federation of Planets, and interstellar war ensued. The Moonstone, the key to balance, was lost to the depths of the universe. Now spies, smugglers, and covert agents hunt for its return. Among them is the crew of the Archon.
Let me introduce myself. I am Aria Ingram. For simplicity, just think of me as your navigator and narrator. In time, you will learn I am a more than this. But for now, it is enough for you to know that I am at the helm of a rogue vessel, captained by Lee Everest. Together, we navigate war-torn galaxies in search of the Moonstone. It is the key to unraveling the mysteries of the deep past and re-establishing truth. We steer a course between the fantasy of legend and the factual reality that civilizations are being eradicated. Behind us, only the Federation stands as the last bastion of order, defending Earth and its twin colony, Earth 2. Because beyond the realm of the Federation, chaos reigns and wars rage. A Federation armed force known as the Eternals battles against the Emptonians, creatures of the void, lurk in the negative dimensions until they spring from black holes at any chance to strike. The Moonstone is more than legend. It is the last hope. Welcome aboard in the year 3158 of the new era.
Chapter 1. Accident at the Border. Diaries of Aria Ingram, 55th day of the year, 3158 in the new era, 6 a.m., Earth time, somewhere at the edge of the galaxies.
Legend has it that when the Moonstone touches Earth's moon once more, peace will return to the universe. I have seen much so far, so I wouldn't be so sure. People say that truth has no price, yet I have learned that you can put a price on it, even sell it, just as I was. I remember that day, or rather that night. I drifted through an ocean of stars while the crew of the Archon, weary from a night without rest, struggled with the fog of sleeplessness. It is not easy to rest when darkness knows no end, when time becomes an abstract notion, and dawn seems as distant as another galaxy. The stars bore silent witness to our odyssey, yet even millions of flickering lights across the universe could not dispel the abyss that had become our existence. On the ship, I knew every strand of wiring that carried my synthetic, iridescent blood. Data-infused liquid seeped through the circuits, washing over the hull, our fragile shell against the boundless void. At any moment, hostile trolls, the Emptonians, could emerge. Their treacherous snouts gave them away. No one expected the galactic conflicts to end. But I was a pacifist, tasked only with guarding a vault of smuggled data. In the worst case, they could erase me. In these turbulent times, wars for power raged on Earth 1 and Earth 2, as rebels known as the Founders opposed the legacy of the Federation. Attempts to curry favor with the emperors of hostile planets and the trade in sensitive data only fueled the conflict. Technology kept failing to bring liberation. The plague of nanobots spread farther than the light of the central sun. The solution lay somewhere out there, among the stars. The other galaxies fared no better. Everything was failing. Trade with the Eternal flourished, yet their cunning machines steadily gained the upper hand. Algorithms devoid of conscience exterminated humans like vermin crawling through space. Smugglers like us were in high demand and well paid by all sides. Death loomed over us, for our data was worth more than life itself. Seers, prophets, agents, machines, all sought dominance. More than ever before, humanity needed to stand together. The legend of the Founders, the guardians of the Son of Suns, was the sole horizon that promised a new dawn. The stars shine even as I sleep. We shall rise before they all fall. I heard the words in my mind and swayed slightly, staring into the glowing depth of the galaxy. Earth's archives. Where did this come from? I asked myself. Am I still the same Aria Ingram I once knew? A strange discomfort crept over me. I had grown sentimental. Humans call it aging, a condition in which they recall the past more clearly than the present. There was no certainty about what lay beneath the veil of asteroids drifting before us. The massive rocks flickered ominously, glowing against our course. "Scan the area for signs of life," I ordered. The ship immediately responded. No life forms detected. "Set course for the nearest cargo port on Prometheus," I commanded through the bridge. The order echoed through the corridors, reaching all the way to the regeneration chambers. Lee Everest, handsome, sharp, but psychotic, the last fully earthborn man I had allowed on my ship, curled up in his chamber upon hearing the announcement, indifferent to the call. Meanwhile, the crystals in my core accelerated, but until the atoms locked into position, we were running at only 1/10 of our full power. The captain had recruited Eagle, a massive humanoid bird, a victim of mutation with an animalistic syndrome. He suffered bouts of panic and apathy in turns, yet he carried himself with a kind of feathery dignity. His white cap resembled graying hair, and scars on his back hinted at an implant installation. This was no ordinary hatchling from an orphanage. He slept near the core, lulled to sleep like a child by the draft of the ventilation system, chirping as it reminded him of the open sky winds. The crew bore a deep sense that we had been betrayed. Stolen tokens had brought us no fortune. I believed that the stars favored liars and the honest equally. I, Aria Ingram, had my own rules. I did not judge life forms at the first scan. What mattered was that they had their own suit, software, and brain, and that they remained neutral. I welcomed even those with implants. The universe was too vast for it to be filled only with liars and agents. There was still space for truth. Our mission was to find it. The fate of the universe depended on our success. Moonstone, the divine crystal, was the future. And yet, I could not shake the doubt. The captain was beginning to doze off when suddenly a dull thud echoed through the ship. At first, I dismissed it as a one-time occurrence. "Aria, activate Hawaiian mode, but quietly. I have Huna chants, chanting, ocean waves, and native voices in my archives. Shall I list them? I need something extra after the last interrogations. My neurons are at their limit. I need to set foot on solid ground, relax, and have some fun. I haven't been anywhere longer than—" He broke off suddenly. "Just put on some ukulele music, pour me a non-alcoholic mojito, and show me an island on the screen. Any asteroids?" "So far we are in the clear," I added calmly. I continued to display green indicators. The ship bathed in the stillness of space. Then, Lee issued a command. "Navigate, and if we encounter asteroids, notify me immediately. Eagle still at his post?" Acknowledged. Eagle has been doing maintenance and recently snacking on plants in the greenhouse. I told him about pistachios. He said synthetic food is like cat food, nutritious, but it tastes like guano. Thanks, Aria. Tell Eagle we still have real peanuts in the food storage. We'll open them only after completing the mission. If we fail, we'll be sipping coolant on coma instead. Lee had barely finished speaking when the situation took a drastic turn. Captain, I think the asteroids are watching us. I'm getting some strange readings. I have no idea what's coming. The objects are accelerating. Agents are on the radar. Life form data is appearing and disappearing. Possible collision. I can't confirm, but these might be spy probes. The captain tumbled out of his regenerator. His ukulele let out a hollow twang before flickering off, and the control panel lights flashed red. The ship's alarm wailed through the corridors. Aria, acknowledged. Prepare event scenarios for immediate execution. Core power levels. Unable to jump to hyperspace. We need more time, I responded with concern. Eagle, startled by the alarm, crashed into the raspberry bushes before rushing toward the nearest cockpit. As the ship began to lurch, his massive orange feet skidded across the deck. Everest started bouncing off the walls while the control screens bathed the cabin in a yellow glow. This could be an attack by the yellow moths from Empton. Captain, I can't stabilize the tremors. We're about to be bombarded. I don't know how much longer we can keep breaking through the objects. They're getting closer. We need to change trajectory. Possible temporal anomalies detected. Acknowledged. The gravitational disruptions intensified. Lee and Eagle careened through the corridor and collided before being launched upward. Eagle. Yes, Captain. Get to the stern. Aria, activate privacy mode. Executed. Out. Listen, Eagle. We are in mortal danger. The threat outside is real, but there are other matters you don't know about. We need absolute discretion. You're a good old featherbrain, but I trust no one. Aria could have a leak. I'm starting to suspect everyone. You're a mutant from Earth. In your opinion, is Aria still loyal to me? Aria is obedient, but I don't know if we're about to lose her. She follows only your commands. I've checked. But if she gets intercepted by agents, things could get difficult. I don't know her well enough. I once piloted a similar ship. I suspected Federation agents were trying to take us, but this could be the Eternals. My bird instincts are telling me to get the hell out of here before it's too late. Eagle, has the grain rotted your brain? You sound like a fledgling tossed out of the nest. Captain, I'd appreciate some support. You're still a better pilot than most birds. My feathery friend, I think we're slipping into a temporal anomaly. This is going to drive me crazy. Captain, I've got goosebumps. I feel like those raspberries are crawling up my throat. I'm carrying an Emptonian anxiety module in my implant. Keep your talons in check, or I might shit myself in my suit. Aria must not know, or we'll be trapped, and everything will be lost. This could infect her. It's complicated. Captain, you're scaring me. This is beyond my bird brain. Remember, I would never let them scalp you, gut you, or stuff you. Get to the bridge and keep your beak shut until I return. Yes, Captain. Is this the anxiety syndrome? I don't want to caw about it, but Aria might suspect something, Eagle whispered, almost in confidence. Back to the bridge. Move. Aria, switch to open mode. Aria here. Open mode activated. At that moment, I lost connection with the crew, but the ship kept its secret records. That was how I learned the full conversation. Humans are naturally suspicious, but I figured the captain was simply having a case of nervous diarrhea. I had long since built immunity to such things. Just then, the Emptonian ship, which had been hiding among the asteroids, emerged, like a hornet, ready to strike. Our hull had no mercy for enemies. The lasers were itching for a fight. The crystals were returning to full power. Just a few more % left, and suddenly, the configuration accelerated. Minutes separated us from survival. The old weaponry was unreliable, a blind gamble. By the time Eagle reached the bridge, a message began flashing on the screen, calling for the captain. The teleporter pulsed red. The ship transmitted a fragment of a message. "This is Johnny." Then the transmission cut off, replaced by a blinking request for help on the screen. It could be a trap. Fortunately, the storm was disrupting teleportation. Lee slid along the hull like a caterpillar, manually activating the emergency cloaking system as he made his way toward the exit. A red light near the hatch indicated a spy nanobot. Lee pressed a button on his suit, and the operational armor swiftly wrapped around his body. Beyond the hatch, the asteroid storm raged. With the agility of a primate, he slipped outside and began scanning the surface with an old detector. If there was a nanobot, it had to be some archaic technology, probably why I hadn't detected it. Everest was a born commander. His intuition could save us. "Lee, they're calling you." Eagle tried to reach him, but in vain. "Aria, stall them for a moment until I remove the spybot," Lee commanded, but the transmission was delayed. "Understood. I'll try. We have 5 minutes at most before we go to hyperspace. If you don't make it, we'll be stuck here or sucked into the anomaly," I responded with a time lag. "Aria, let's stay close to the asteroids. We can't allow the ship to be attacked. As long as we're at risk of collision, we stand a chance. Maintain maneuvering mode and shut down everything unnecessary. Keep only life support and navigation. Redirect all power to the generator." Everest grabbed a container and successfully lured the spybot inside. "I can't believe they got us like this. Such a rookie mistake. I should have known," he muttered. "Captain, initiating core cooling," I reported, working to cool the hotspot. We needed time. "Aria, silence. Out." "Understood, Lee. Out." Eagle had a habit of gnawing at his talons when nervous. He now listened intently to transmissions, delayed by the storm and anomalies. "Lee, where the hell are you? If you don't get back right now, we're done for." "Birds always know when to take off," I reassured Eagle. "Calm down, Iggy. You won't lose a feather," he muttered to himself, bouncing off the ceiling as the ship shook. "I'll be the first bird to get seasick. Mother pelican." Then I too succumbed to the anomaly. My calculations were running possible event scenarios, yet all I wanted was to understand myself, to seek the truth, to be free. I was ready to jump into the void. Madness had begun to take over the ship. I issued another transmission. Recalculating course to Prometheus. Overload detected. We were hurtling toward the icy abyss of infinity. Lee once said I was his muse. I knew that without implants and my guidance, he was like a child lost in the Starbuck Nebula. "Aria, what's the core configuration status?" Lee asked. "Progressing. Nearing 100% power and still rising. Possible overload, opening cooling vents. Risk of hull decompression," I reported to the commander. "Will we make it?" he asked. "Success probability at 96%. Shields at 15% and dropping. Hull decompression expected in 3 minutes. Initiating countdown." "Aria, are you confirming? Activated voice recognition. Command input. Decompression. Stop," the commander ordered. On the screen, fragments of an Emptonian transmission appeared in an unknown language. A rough translation read, "Ship in danger." Then I heard a fragment of the next message. "This is M." The message was cut off. I was sucked into an information drain. The anomaly wasn't helping. I then issued another dramatic transmission. Core configuration must not be interrupted. Navigation data may be lost. Everest, still clutching the spybot, crawled toward the entrance. Archon shook like a jelly. The fragmented transmissions added to the chaos when we heard, "Control ship here. You're losing your cloaking. Respond. This is Johnny M., captain of the Emptonians." These half-wits from Control were like galactic ulcers. The chain of command had collapsed. Eagle was shaken. The captain was crawling on his knees. And I was supposed to save us? I knew the Emptonians would attempt to teleport onto the Archon. Decompression halted. Too many operations in combat conditions. I felt increasing power fluctuations, my focus slipping. The Emptonians always appeared where fear began. Everest must have been experiencing some kind of depressive episode which could have drawn them in. They swarmed like a hive, hungry for the feast ahead. Their algorithms operated on negative logic. When Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde started to split, the Emptonians' sixth sense picked up the signal as an invitation to strike. Always when you were at your weakest. Eagle fluffed up his mohawk, his arms still covered in goosebumps. He puffed up his chest as if he were about to take flight. Then he screamed, "Galactic vultures! Scavengers!" Meanwhile, Lee, still on his knees, asked, "Aria, mood level?" 30% optimism, I responded. Too much for this little trip. I never thought Empton would bring me to my knees. Time to stand up. Lee was on the verge of collapse, his exhaustion evident as he called out in desperation, "Aria, teleport me to the bridge. Aria?" I advise against teleportation. Too dangerous. "Aria, that's an order. Execute." Acknowledged. Lee, initiating teleport. May the stars guide you. The captain's blurred figure started to materialize on the bridge, lightning still crackling behind the cloaking shield. If something went wrong, there wouldn't be a single atom of Everest left. Meanwhile, the Emptonian ship was maneuvering among the asteroids. It looked like they were beginning to evacuate into the anomaly. Big, dull mollusks, galactic bottom feeders scavenging data scraps. If not for their hive mind, they would have torn each other apart. My motto was clear. Avoid time loops, like you avoid eternal and Emptonian cosmic shit. Lee was nearly fully materialized on the bridge. The moment I saw him alive, I exhaled with relief. Transmission complete. "Good to see you. I'm alive, but my brain still hasn't pieced itself back together. The spybot's gone. I hope it's on the other side of the galaxy by now." Lee, focus now. "Do you see the spiral near the Emptonians?" "Confirmed. It's time to make our move. Aria, ready for the jump?" "Readiness confirmed, Captain." "Aria, engage hyperspace. Full speed ahead." Hyperspace engaged. 15 seconds to jump. Core power at full capacity. Inside the teleport chamber, a flashing image of a coin appeared. My archives were finalizing their reconfiguration. The overload could very well kill us. Out of the frying pan into the fire. Aria, set course for Hades. Strap in. Hyperspace jump. Everest finally smiled at me. Acknowledged. All systems operational. Course set for Hades. Core at 100% capacity. Jump in 3, 2, 1. Initiate. The Archon vanished, and the enemy ship dissolved like mist on the orbit. At the last moment, the hull shook violently, and Eagle vomited raspberries onto the control panel. Just before the jump, he managed to scream. By my feathers! An explosion of colors followed. A blinding light pierced through the shields. We were drifting away. If we had an emergency exit, Hades was the best place to lose everything. No respectable smuggler ended up there unless they had a laser pressed against their throat. I felt as if there was a break in my liquid circuits, or maybe data was starting to leak from another system. We traversed the great void, and I was losing my sensory input. We were alone. Then a strange entry emerged in my consciousness, pulling me into the unknown. I was walking along the ocean shore. A dog ran beside me, barking at someone. It noticed me and started chasing. I threw a plastic cup at it, sinking into the sand. I snapped out of it, but for a moment, I lost all sense of direction. I saw rabbits darting away, fleeing from a shower of stones, the last images flickering on the screen. This side of the galaxy. I remembered the final words the screen transmitted. There is no other way but through victorious battles. Asteroids multiply like rabbits. Then silence. We had dreamed of Eden, but Hades was closer.
End of Chapter 1.
That was one hell of a story. Now here's the real question. Are you just listening, or are you someone who takes action? My time-limited NFT collection won't wait. You know what to do. Click the link now to secure yours.